Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, we're just getting upstairs.
Okay.
So we'll get underway momentarily.
You don't need a bad reputation.
Exactly.
What are bagels?
What do you mean the bagels? That's the wrong holiday. You mean the donut?
Good thing.
All right, Green.
Yes.
I'm going to log out and log back in. My camera, it doesn't recognize my camera, so I'm going
Okay.
to try again.
All right. Sure thing, Alan. I'm doing a little. Today is Zos Hanukkah. All right.
Somebody's not my camera. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I will be anonymous today.
Okay. I'm gonna get our learning sponsors ready and then we'll roll. Okay, because
I'm ready to hear them.
all right. Okay, I'm starting with our learning sponsors this morning. A Year of Learning by Sue and Arnie Garelick, in memory of Michael Perlman and Philip Mann, and Yisrael David ben Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Beryl ben Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Yosef ben Meir ben Harav Tzvi Hirsch, and Yerivka Pro Rosner bat Harav Tzvi Hirsch, and in memory of family murdered in the Holocaust, Harav Tzvi Hirsch ben Shlomo Yaakov, Sarah bat Ephraim, Yisrael David ben Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Ephraim ben Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Adia bat Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Miriam bat Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Pesel bat Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Shalom ben Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Shlomo Yaakov ben Harav Tzvi Hirsch, Shmuel ben Harav Tzvi Hirsch. Sharon and Fred Lisker, their family and many friends, in memory of her dear mom, Harriet Friedman, Edelbas Yaakov, Leslie and Gail Kaplan, in memory of their parents, Harry and Marjorie Sedell, and Irving and Pearl Kaplan. Friends of Avi Gitler, Avrameir ben Shimon, and Martha Gitler Charna bat Yeshaya. Children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren of Toby Paris, Saratova bat Yisrael Dov in her memory. Friends of Joe Wolf, Yosef ben Chaim, Charlie Gelfenstein and Sam Levine in memory of Ramona Levine, Rachumata bat Asher. Friends of Nina Monesta, Nechama Azna bat Yitzchak Aharon. We have then a month of learning, and that is sponsored by Marcia Federbush, okay, in memory of her father, Menachem Mendel ben Shlomo, by Reuven and Susan Podolsky, in memory of his mother, Fredel Bashraga Fivo, by Phyllis and Chaim Reese, in memory of her father, Pinchas ben Abraham, by Rebecca Lewis and Susan Wotonsky, in memory of their aunt and sister Miriam bat Yosef and Devorah. Okay. Today is the 6th, and therefore there is a day of learning by B. Worden, in memory of her mother-in-law, Fagel Bas Avraham. That is also a week of learning by Marty and Marla Teichman, in memory of his father, Yom Tov Lipa ben Avraham. Shemas have an aliyah, crank Rafia, Velti Yeshira Shem Matzliah, and L'chol B'nai Yisrael a good Gaben Shkia. Okay. All right. Okay, so gentlemen, just a brief administrative item, a reminder, okay, that a week from today. Right, Mel?
Yeah.
It's going to be the Siyum on Gemara Tanis. We'll have something to eat before we start the fast. Or we'll finish the Tanis by having something to eat. Okay?
That's right, that's why.
Okay, and Mel will give us more details.
Yeah.
Okay, as we progress. Okay, Mel, if we can get those details before the weekly goes to press on Thursday,
All right.
that would be good.
So,
Okay, all right. Okay, the next Gemara is Megillah. Right,
Right.
right. Okay, so we should keep that in mind. If one doesn't have already a Gemara,
Guys inside the Swedish Dominion should really be very happy because Ruach and Shreros of we have to start at the mode.
Oh, I see.
You've been practicing that now?
Sure, no, he thought of that already at Thanksgiving, you know? Right? That's why we have turkey, because it's called Tarnagol Hodu, right? You gotta, well, that's why we say Hallel, right? It says Hodu Lashem Kito. All right, okay. So I want to just start us in a moment on Kaf Daled Amud Aleph, as we start with the Gemara. Remember, we saw another whole Breita that dealt with Choni Ma'agal, and then with his grandson and another grandson, okay? And that brought us all the way over to the top of the Amud. However, before we do that, we came to a situation. The following was the case,
That's okay.
right? Okay, that there were two, we saw that two students, and then the next to the last line, on Gimel Amud Beis, Rav Yossi Barar Avin, Avashachich Kame de Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukrat. Rabbi Yossi used to learn by Rabbi Yossi of Yukrat, Shavke Va'ata the Kame de Rav Ashi. He left him and came to Rav Ashi. Okay, so the Gemara then on Kaf Dalet starts off Yom Echad, Shame de Kagaris. He heard Rav Ashi repeating the following lesson: Amar Shmuel, says Shmuel, Ashole Dag Min Hayam b'Shabbat, one who removes a fish from the sea on Shabbos, Kevan Shevesh Bo Selech Hayav, when he allows an amount of area on the fish to become dry, the size of a coin, a sela, he is chayav. Amarle, so the Rav Ashi responds. Velema, Rav Yossi responds. And to Rav Ashi, Velema mar ubein snava, right? Some Rav. Let him say that it was between the fins, right? Amarle, Rav Ashi responds, Velo savar la mar. The Hahi Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Avin Amra. Aren't you of the opinion that it was Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Avin that said that? Okay, and Amarle Ananihu, I'm him. Okay, so what happens? The Gemara is going to pick up there. Okay, 6 lines from the top, right on Kaf Daled Amud Aleph. Amarle says to him, "Hi, all right." What happened? Hey, yes, it's me. Amarle umay tam shavke mar va'ata hacha. And what's the reason that you left? In other words, your prior teacher, right? Rabbi Yossi bar Avin, and you've come here to learn with me. Okay. Amarle gavra da'al bare va'al barte lochas. Why? Because he is a person who, regarding his son and his daughter, he has shown no mercy. Okay, what does that mean? Alai didi hechichias. On me, he's going to show any mercy, all right, any kind of compassion. Berei mayahi. I'm assuming that that's Rav Ashi that wants to ask the question regarding his son, right? What was he talking about? Yom Echad, he says, one day, Havu Agre Le Agire Badibra. One day he had hired day laborers to work in the field. Nagalaho, V'lo Aite Laho Rifta. Okay, what happened was that he had these laborers, all right, and they were busy working, and it started getting dark. V'lo Aite Laho Rifta. And he hadn't brought them any food, bread in this case, to eat. Amrule Lebre, they said, the workers said to his son, Kafinin Havu, we're hungry. Yadve Tute Ta'aneta. And they were sitting underneath a certain kind of tree, right? A fig tree. Amar Ta'ena Ta'ena. So what did the sons do? He says, Ta'ena Ta'ena, Otzi Perutayich, V'yochlu Po'ale Abba Afiku. Okay, he calls on the tree, excuse me, to give forth fruit before the normal period of time for it to produce, okay, that the workers should be able to eat, right? So what happens? Afiku, it produced the fruit, vachlu, and they ate. Adahachi vahachi, and sooner or later, what happens? Ata avua, along came his father. Amar laho, and he said to the workers, Lo tin katu, don't be angry with me. B'da'ataychu, right? Don't take it angry with me. Dahai denahagna amitzvah tarchana. Why? Because I was busy fulfilling a mitzvah, carrying out a mitzvah, and that's what delayed me. Va'ad hashta hu desagai. Okay, and up till now, that's why I, so to speak, desagai. That's why I came late. All right. Amrule, they said to him the following: Rachmana lishavach, may the Holy One, so to speak, satisfy you. Kihechi the ashba'an barach, the same way your son has satisfied us. Amarlo, he said to Mehacha, and he said to him, from where? Where did he get the food? Amru, they said to him, Hachi vahachi hava maaseh, such and such was the deed. Okay, Amarlo bani, ata hitrachta et konech, lahotzi ta'ana peroteha shelo bizmana. You nagged, let's say, we'll use that explanation, bothered your creator to bring forth fig, in this case, fruit, okay, from the produce, shelo bismana, not according to its appropriate time, ye are safe, shelo bismano. Okay, may he be gathered. In other words, may the child, the son, be gathered up before his time. May he die young.
Wow.
Really? It's a curse.
You know, Rabbi Green, when you consider the story of Tony Hamago, who was terribly disfigured because he delayed even a few minutes of feeding someone who was hungry.
No, that was nothing.
No, it's not. But the point you're making, Bob, is a good one. In other words, here on the one hand, this story gives us what this Choni person or Nachum Ishkamzu, what one righteous person did, okay, and how he cursed himself, okay, because of his lack of alacrity in fulfilling it.
And that involved the death.
And right,
More serious.
and it involved the death, right? Yeah, and yet here the father, who's a sage, okay, is cursing his own son again, because right. So in other words, we're beginning to see a number of stories where even though they were sages, they weren't perfect. They weren't, okay, all right. What?
That's why he left him.
Okay, it could, that's why he left him, exactly. That's why he went to Rav Ashi.
But the Gemara made it clear before that bothering or Shalom was something, or Gamliel said, if you weren't Tony Amago, I
would have put you in
So,
here.
I mean, he
It
was
could be.
correct here in a sense.
It could be, that's, I agree. I wasn't comfortable with the story unless, again, it was telling us other examples where it's been given us examples of not only chachamim, but private individuals whose moral integrity and mitzvah observance was of such a high level. In other words, it doesn't have to be a sage
No.
to be a model example of appropriate behavior. Okay, and here, on the other hand, even if you are a sage, how much al chat kama v'chama, right? That's your point, Marvin, right? Okay.
Why isn't fasting bothering everybody in the Shloim too?
Does.
The same as everything else.
Why else would he do the nace? All right, and give them the fruit.
But apparently the Gemara says it's okay to fast
Under certain
under
circumstances.
certain circumstances.
That's the point.
I think like when I hear this, I'm thinking to myself, so I'm trying to figure it out. Do you think that Hashem, he was criticizing them because he tried to push Hashem to do something before it's time? And when you look at your own life sometimes, do we sometimes try to push Hashem to give us things that maybe aren't necessarily right for us? Do you think
That's
there's
it.
something along that line?
It's
where
an
he tried to
interesting
push
thought.
Hashem to do something that he didn't really want to do at that moment?
That's an interesting thought. We all, it's a question of what we want yesterday as opposed to waiting till tomorrow, right? The only time we want it yesterday in particular is when there's a cholera or something like that. That's when we really would like Hashem to speed up the process of refuah, right? Okay, now you think that that's in regard to the son. What does he do regarding the daughter? Okay, Barte. So in other words, Rav Ashi asks, you claim that he had no compassion neither for his son nor for his daughter. Fine, I can understand, let's say, Ruvain's perspective for a moment, that you were nagging Hashem. That was inappropriate. Okay? But now in this case, let's see what happens, right? Barte, his daughter, Maihi Havyale, what was with her? What's that situation? Barta Ba'alat Yofi. She was a beautiful young woman. Yom Echad, Chaziahahu Gavra. One day he saw a particular man, Dahava Karya Bahotza, that he was boring a hole. We don't know if he was doing it through a wall, for example, or through or let's say doing through brush, a wall made of bushes. Okay, either way, v'kachazila, and he wanted to see her. Amarlo. Okay, so the father says to him, "My hi, what are you doing?" Amarle, he responded, the man, Rebbe, im lelokcha lo zachiti. If I'm not able to basically marry her, take her in marriage, right? Lirota lo eske. Just to look at her, I shouldn't get some benefit, right? Amarla, he said to her, Biti ka mitzaarat laho lebraita. My daughter, you are causing discomfort, pain to another human being. Shuvi la'afarayach va'al yikashlu bach b'nei adam. Return to dust. Okay, so that you should not cause a person to what?
Sorry.
Return to dust.
Oh.
Okay, die. Because she was the daughter of a sage, besides being beautiful. And he could have been a regular Joe Jew, all right?
Why is she getting, he should be the one.
Good question. Good question.
She was the Tekoa.
She was the source of the problem, so to speak. All right? Va'al kashilu bech b'nei adam. And don't let other men, I'll say in this case, have their downfall, their error with you. All right? So that's the case. Let's get back to more.
Not much of a sage, if you ask me.
Well, the point is, That's why I think the Gemara is giving us examples of sometimes it's a sage whose moral and behavior is truly to be emulated. Sometimes they're giving us examples of average individuals whose moral behavior, like the bloodletter. Okay, his example we saw previous Amud. Okay, so we see examples of both. In this case, we understand why Rabbi Yossi, okay, the Mendu Yukrat did not feel comfortable any further learning with that particular individual.
I think for us, it's more of a lesson of lifnei iver, just try not to, don't cause people to sin because of your actions. Like, I can't necessarily relate to this story the way it happened where he cursed the woman to die, but for our daily lives, we're in situations sometimes that we might cause people to sin in so many different ways, and that we have to just be careful to make sure that we're not a shliach to bring sin to anybody else.
That could be a good point, right? And also just in our own behavior. There is such.
When it says before that, we see that because this is the way he's going to do with his own children, then I don't stand a chance.
Then I don't
Something
stand a
wrong,
chance.
it's
Right.
the way it said before.
Right. Okay. All right. So we have another example. Havya lehahu chamra. Okay, he had a certain donkey. Kidahavu igrela kol yoma. And he used to hire out this donkey on a daily basis. Right? La orta. Havu mishadre la agra agaba. And at the end of the day, people would load the money that they owed for the use of the donkey. They would load it in a bag or saddle bag, whatever, put it on the donkey's back, and then the donkey would go back to its master. Okay? What happens? Va'achila be'mara, and it becomes the house of the master. Right? Ve'i tafula, and if they added it too much, o batrela, or if it was too little, lo atya, the donkey wouldn't move. Okay? Yom echad, inshu zuga de sandale ala. One day, someone forgot a pair of sandals on the donkey. Velo azla adeshaka lunhu mina vahadar azla. And the donkey wouldn't move until they took off the pair of sandals. And then it went. Now, what does that tell us? I'm not sure that it says whether that's to be considered a compliment for Rabbi Yossi bar Avin or not. There's something at least to tell us that he was, in terms of business deals, he was makpid on certain, right? Now, again, new piece from our Gemara, Elazar ish birta ad havu. Okay, chazule gabai tzedakah. We have another individual that's being looked at now, and this isn't a sage. This is an average person. Eliezer from Abarta, right? Kad havu chazu, since, okay, chazule gabai tzedakah, since it would occur that when the Gabais who handled the tzedakah of the community would see him, what did they do? Havu tashumine. They would hide from him. The kol mai dahava gabe yahiv lahu. That whatever money he happened to have with him at the time, he would give his money totally at that time to the Gabaei tzedakah. Yom echad hava sali l'shuka. One day he was going out to the marketplace, the mizban nedunya lebarte, in order to purchase, some would say, a trousseau or to arrange the dowry for his daughter. What happened? Chazyuhu gabaei tzedakah. He saw the gabaei tzedakah, tashumine, and they hid from him. Azal v'rahat batraihu. He went and ran after them. Amar laho, and he said to them, Ashba'atichu, I'm making an oath. I make you take this following oath with me. B'mai askatihu, what are you involved in doing? Amrulei beitum biatom v'yatoma. He says, regarding, we're raising money right now for male and female orphans. Amar lehen, he said to them, ha'avoda, taking an oath by the temple service. Okay, shehein kodmin labiti, they come before my daughter, right? Shakil kol dahu behedya v'yahiv lahu. He took all the money that he had at the time and he gave it to them. What happened? Pashle chad zuzah. There only remained to him a single zuz. What happened then? Zavan lechite. He went and bought for that zuz some wheat. Va'asik v'shadye b'chalva. He went, and when he got home, he took that little bit of wheat and then he threw it into the granary. Right? Atai de betayu. Amra la labarte. Along comes his wife, and she says to the daughter, "My aiti avuch, what did your father bring home?" Amrale, she said to her, right? She said, "Kol ma da'aite, whatever he brought home, ba'achalva shadite." He sort of threw it into the granary. What happened? Acha lamiftach baba de achlava. She went then to open the door or the gate of the granary. Chazat achalba de malyachite. And she saw the granary was totally full of grain, right? Totally full of wheat. V'kan nafka b'tzinora de dasha v'lo miftach. It was so full that it was coming out of the doorknob, so to speak. Okay, and she wasn't able to open baba mechite, all right, and it was so full of wheat that she wasn't able to open the gate of the door. Azla barte labe midrasha. The daughter then went to the base midrash. Amarale, and she said to her father, Bo ra'eh ma'asalacha ohavech. Come and see what the one who loves you. In other words, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu did for you. Amarla, okay, ha'avodah. And again, he takes the oath by the temple service. Okay, a miracle occurred that all the small amount of grain suddenly multiplied. Harei hein hekdesh alayich, ve'en lach behen ele ke'echad me'aniyei Yisrael. Okay, since he didn't want her to benefit from a miracle, he declared that all of that wheat should be considered hekdesh, right? Sanctified, okay? And as a result, it's only viable to be used by the poor, okay?
What about his daughter's dowry?
She'll have to wait, right? All right, he put the mitzvah of helping the widow and not the widow, the orphans ahead of the dowry.
Okay. We learned last week's parsha about Chamesh, the amount of tzedakah a person's allowed to give.
Maser,
Right. So this is a lot more. This seems
I'm
like a lot
sure.
more advice.
I'm sure.
Chamesh.
Sure.
Those was gonna go above and beyond.
Right.
That's what they did to him. They know he was going to do with. So they didn't walk
That's
away.
right. They knew the story, right? Marty, the story tells us. That's why they hid from him, right? Okay. Rabbi Yehuda.
Maybe the daughter was so young because they used to marry off young girls then.
Right.
So maybe she was so young, she could afford to wait another year.
She could wait another. Okay. Could be. That's why the difference of Nadunya, some want to translate a dowry, some want to translate it a trousseau. Okay, if you translated a trousseau, that's a different concept, right? That's just getting her the clothes to put together when she goes, right? Okay. Dowry went to her husband. Okay. Now we're going to continue with back to our story, so to speak, our main concept of declaring fast days regarding a rainfall issue, right? Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya, Gezar Ta'anita. Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya, okay, declared a fast by Rachme v'lo ata mitra. He prayed for Hashem's mercy, but the rain did not come. Amar kama ika mishmuel haramati liYehuda ben Gamliel. What a gap, I'm going to use the phrase, between the personality, okay, of Shmuel Haramati, right, the prophet Shmuel, versus myself, Yehuda, the son of Gamliel, right? Oy lo ledor shekain nitka. Woe is to the generation that we have been, so to speak, reduced to this situation. Oy lo lami she'alta biyamav. Woe to him who now is, let's say, above a person of authority in this at this time. Okay, right now, kach chalash da'ate va'ata matra. He was so basically unhappy, displeased, and therefore the rain came. Further story, the Beit Nesiya, Gezar Ta'anita, the house of the Nasi, declared a fast. V'lo odi anhu l'Rabbi Yochanan u'l'Reish Lakish. But Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish were not informed of the declaration of the fast the day before. Remember, we've seen that it should be done at the mincha the day before. Okay, and so what happens? Letzafra, that morning, odi inhu, that's when they were informed. And therefore, Amar le Reish Lakish le Rabbi Yochanan, he says, right? Ha lo kavilna alan me'orta, since we did not take it upon ourselves from evening. Amar le anan batrayu, right? Gararinan the Beit Nesiya. But Rabbi Yochanan responded him. He said, we are after. In other words, we have to follow the model of the declaration of the house of the Nasi. Gazar ta'anita v'lo ata matra. They declared a fast and the rain didn't come. Tana laho Oshaya. And so now we have another explanation. All right? Tana, okay, taught about Oshaya. Zeira damin habra, right? Havraya, right? That this Braita was taught by a Tana who's named Oshaya the Younger. He, in a sense, because he was the youngest of the group of sages that were learning together. Okay? And this is what he said. Vaya imain ha'ida ne'esta l'shgaga, citing the pasuk. What do we compare the pasuk to? Mashal l'kala shehi b'veit aviha. The example is to a potential bride. Okay? She still is in the house of her father. Kozman she'eineha yafot, so long as her eyes are, let's say, beautiful. Ein kol gufa tzricha b'dika. Okay? Her person does not need any examination. Eineha trufot, if her eyes are bleary, right? Kol gufa tzricha b'dika. Then her person needs examination. In other words, if she's at a point in life that we see other changes in her physicality, okay, therefore we have to question about the rest of her physicality as well. Atu avdei v'ramula sudra b'tzavara. Okay, what happens? They came, the servants, and they wrapped a scarf, okay, around her neck. V'kamitzarule, and this was made her uncomfortable. All right, right. Amrule, they said to him, bani. Okay, the following, right? What?
It's about the Nasi, not the girl.
Oh,
We're talking about.
okay, the Nasi, right? Vakat mitzarule, right? They put all right. So, okay, right. They put a scarf around his neck, and they were making it difficult for him. Right? Amrule banai. Okay. right? Ma'atya shavke, okay, in this point, daha nami mitzarlan kivan dechazinim b'kol mile l'shum shamayim. Okay, what are they saying here? From here, right? Okay, remove it, right? The hanami mitzarlan. Why? Because you are causing us, right? Tsar, causing us difficulties. Right? Right? Because of your intent, the chazinim, because we see all your words are for heaven's sake. The point is, even though this is a problem, okay, nevertheless, your intent is a valid intent. Lo amre le mide, he didn't say anything. What happened? V'shavkinam le, and they left him. They left him alone. Atun nami shavkuhu. Okay, so you also, they should leave alone. Okay, in other words, the problem is he had made this comment. I think it dealt with Oshaya. Okay,
Yeah.
right, and that the Beit Nasir was not happy with his comment. They were the ones who put the scarf around his neck. Okay, and the people of the town said, "Hey, don't do anything. We don't. He says other kinds of things like that, and we don't punish him for that. Let him alone. Don't you punish him for that statement either," is what they're basically saying. Okay. All right, a new piece. Rabbi Gazar Ta'anita V'lo Atamitra. Rabbi declared a fast, and the rain did not come. Nachit Kame Al Ifa. And Ifa, according to one version, became the Shliach Tzibur, went before the Aron. Va'amrela Rabbi Ilfi, and others say it was Rabbi Ilfi. Va'amar Mashiv Haruach, and when he said as part of the davening, Mashiv Haruach, V'nesazika, the wind began to blow. Morid Hageshem, when he said the next part, Va'ata Mitra, the rain began to fall. Amarle Ma'u of Deich, and he asks, what is it that you merited? What are your deeds that you merited that your prayer was going to be answered and produce the rain? Right? Amarle, he said to him, Dayana Bikusta Dechika. He says, I live in a poor community. Delit Be Chamra the Kidusha Ba'avdalta, that doesn't normally have wine for either Kiddush or Havdalah, right? Tarachna Va'atina Chamra the Kidusha Ba'avdalta. And I make an effort to be able to bring wine to this community so they will have wine for Kiddush and Havdalah. Umafikna laho yidei chovatayu. And this enables them to satisfy their obligation. Further statement, Rav Ikle lahahu atra. Rav happened to come to a particular place. Gazar ta'anita v'lo ata mitra. He declared the fast, but the rain did not come. Right? Nachet kame shlicha de tzibura. Okay, a individual then went before the ark as the representative. Amar mashiv haruach v'neshev zika. He said mashiv haruach, and the wind blew. Amar marid hageshem. He said marid hageshem va'ata mitra, and the rain came. Amar li ma'yovdech, and again he asked, "What are your deeds that you merit?" Right? Amar le, he said to them, "Mikre dardake ana." He says, "I help children read the Torah." And I'm an elementary school teacher, so to speak. I'm teaching them their Torah lessons, right? Umakrina lebnei anai, and I teach the children of the poor, kibnei atirai, like the children of the rich. V'chol delo efshar le, and one who is not able to, in this case, pay me, right? Lo shakilna minei midei, I don't take any money from them. Ve'itli pira dechavarai, and I have a fish pond, v'chol man, the pasha, okay, and anytime I have a child that basically has a problem, right, reading, right, or is embarrassed to read or incapable of reading, right, mash chadina le minayu. And what do? I bribe, so to speak, the child with bringing them to the fish pond, right? Umesadrinan le, umefaisinan le, adadaite, bekare. And I, so to speak, I calm them, I arrange it for them, I calm them down, okay, until they're able to come and read for me. Okay, interesting therapy. Exactly. I arrange for the child to be calmed down so they're able to participate in the plan. Okay. Right. Rav Nachman, another story. Rav Nachman Gazar Ta'anita Ba'a Rachme. Rav Nachman declared a fast to pray, right? And what happened? Velo Ata Mitra, and the rain didn't come. Amar, it says, Shakluha leNachman. And what did he say? Take Nachman, Chavutu min Guda la'ara, and throw him from the wall to the ground. Okay. In other words, take me up onto this wall, push me down, right? Chalash da'ate va'ata mitra. As a result, he was despondent, or we, right? And then the rain came, right? Rabba gazar ta'anita. So when Rabba declared a fast, by Rachme, wanted to pray, velo ata mitra, and the rain didn't come. Amrule, and they said to him, Vaha Rav Yehuda ki hava gazar ta'anita. But when Rav Yehuda would declare a fast, ata mitra, then the rain came. Amar laho. So Rav responds, my avid, what should I do? Imishum t'nu'ai, right? Anan adafinan minayu. If it's because of question of a certain amount of learning, okay, we are, I don't want to use the word more advanced, okay, but we are in a better position, let's use that way, than they did. Dibishane, the Rav Yehuda, that during the years of Rav Yehuda, called Tanuai Benizikin, all of their learning was based on the Zikin, he says. Right? Va'anan kamat nitin b'shita sadrari. But we now learn all 6 sadarim of the Mishnah. Okay? V'chi hava mate Rabbi Yehuda b'uktzin. Okay, and when in those times Rabbi Yehuda, they focused on Gemara Uktzin, right? Ha'isha shekoveshet yerek b'kadera. Okay, as in the example of a woman who is pickling greens, certain things in a bowl. Va'amre la zeitim shekavshan v'tarpehen tohori, and they would say that those olives that were pickled in the leaves are tahor. Amar haviyat the Rav u'shmuel kachazina hacha. Okay, we would say that these are the debates, so to speak, between Rav and Shmuel that we see here. Va'anan kamat nitin ba'uktzin tleisar mativta'a. And we, in other words, they only studied uktzin at Rabbi Yehuda's yeshiva. We have 13 different schools where they are studying issues of uktzin. Okay. Ve'ilu Rav Yehuda, ki hava shalif chad misana. And it happened that when Rav Yehuda, okay, would remove one shoe, ate mitra, the rain would come. Va'anan katzavchinan kule yoma v'leka de eshgachban. And we could cry out the entire day and no attention would be paid. imishum uvda, if we say it's because of some deeds, the question of our deeds, ike dechazamide, if it's such that one sees, so to speak, our situation. Okay, maybe it's because we have failings in how we observe. All right, lema, let us say then, say that. Aval maya asu gdolei hador, she'ein doron domei yafeh. But what can we do since the great ones of a generation, their gifts don't seem to compare to what previous generations were. Rav Yehuda, regarding Rav Yehuda, Chazahinhu Beitrei, Havu Ka Artse Berifta. He once saw a pair of sages or students, right, of the sages, and they were wasting bread. Amar Shmamina Ikesh Sova Ba'alma. Okay, he would said it would appear then that if that's the case, there must be an abundance in the world. Yahiv Eine Hava Kafna. He gave a certain kind of look with his eyes, and instead there was a famine. Amra, right? And they said, Lu Amrule, they said to him, Rabbanan, the Rav Kahana, Bere de Rav Nechunya Shame. The rabbi said to Rav Kahana, the son of Rav Nechunya, to his servant, as follows: Mar d'shchiach kame niasiya de lipuk b'pitcha de samuch l'shuka. Okay, namely that they said that the master who is there before you, all right, let him do something. Okay, basically persuade him, okay, to say, to leave by the doorway that's close to the marketplace. In other words, let him go out that way and really see the status of things in the market. Asiya v'nafek l'shuka. He did it, and he went out to it by the means of the marketplace. Chaza kanufia. He saw a large assembly, a large group. Amar laho, and he said to them, Mai hai, what's going on here? Amrule, they said to him, Akusfa de tamre kaime de kamizdava. It's we have a container, a single large container of dates, okay? And multiple people are trying to buy the dates, okay? Amar shmamina kafna ba'alma. That seems to tell us that there really is a famine in the land, okay? Amarle, Mishmaya, he said to his servant, Shalufli masa'ana, remove my shoes. Shalaf lechad misana, he took off one of the shoes. Va'ata mitra, and the rain came. Kimate lemishlaf acharina, and when it came time, okay, to take off the second shoe, Ata Eliyahu, va'amarle, along came Elijah, and he said to him, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, ishalaft acharina macharivna la'alma. If you remove your second shoe, I'm going to wind up having to destroy the world. In other words, there'll be so much rain, it will cause a flood like there was in the time of Noah. Right? Amar Rav Miri. Okay, Bara de Bat Shmuel. Okay, Rav Miri, who is the son of the daughter of Shmuel. Anahava Ka'amina Aguda de Nahar Papa. Okay, he says, I once was going along besides the river bank of the river, right, Papa. Chazai lemalachei, okay, and I saw certain beings, the idmu lemalchei, and these divine beings appeared like they were sailors, okay, and what were they doing? Deka maite chala, right, that they were bringing sand, umalanhu la'arbe, and they were filling the ships with this sand. Vahava kimcha desmaida, and it turned out that it was like fine flour. Okay, it was a miracle that the sand was turned into flour. Okay, atu kuli alma lemizban. Everyone came to purchase it. Amar laho, and he said to them, Mahu, okay, meha lo tizbun de ma'asen nisimhu. Don't buy these because it's based on miracles. The machar atyan arve dechiti de parzina. Tomorrow, he says, there will come ships, okay, bearing wheat from Parzina, from another area, another
Rabbi,
location.
We see other examples where it's okay to take advantage of a miracle. So why did they stop them from taking advantage of the miracle here?
Good question. We've also seen that the Gemara has told us, Ein somchim ala nes. Okay, so I think we see there were different attitudes among the sages, right? In that regard. Some would say it's okay.
Taking advantage and.
Some would say no. Right? Rabba equal.
The name is Yosef.
Yeah.
You get benefit from this that takes away from your susa.
That could be. That could be another point.
But why would Hashem send it if he didn't want you to use it?
That's why I said I think there was a difference of opinion among the Tanaim. Okay, whether it was viable to use it or not. Okay, acceptable not. Okay, wouldn't be the first time we see machloket. All right, different viewpoints. Right. Okay, Rabba ikla Hagronia. Rava came to the town of Hagronia. Gezarta Anita velo ata mitra. A new piece in the Gemara that he declared a fast day, and the rain did not come. Amar laho, they said to him, okay, Baito kuli alma b'ta'ani taichu. He said to the people, go and continue, everyone, your observance of the fast. L'machar amar laho. The next day he told them, Mi ika dechaze chilma. Was there anyone that saw something in a dream? Lema, let him say it. Amar laho Rabbi Elazar mehagronia. L'didi kirion bechalme. He said to Rabbi Elazar from Hagronia, I had, so to speak, a message, a pasuk, okay, in the dream, okay, and the message was Shalem Tov, the Rav Tov, Meribon Tov, the Metuvia Metiv Va'ame. Okay, welcome, a hearty welcome to a good Rav from a good Lord, okay, whose goodness will be brought to his people. Okay? That's how loosely translated. Amar, he said, Shma mina et ratzonhi mi bai rachme. This seems then to be an appropriate time, a good time to beseech Hashem's blessing. In other words, his mercy to pray. Bai rachme va'ate mitra. Okay, they prayed and they came the rain. Okay, now going on, Hahu Gavra, the Echayev Nagda Bebeidina. There was a certain person who was going to be punished, okay, by means of flogging in the court of Rabba. Rava, Mishum de Baal Kuti. Okay, why? Because he had, some texts have the Baal Nochrit. Okay, right? Because he had relations, inappropriate sexual relations with a woman, a certain woman. Nagde, they flogged him. Rabba, he commanded a flog. Umit, and the person died from the flogging. Right? What happened? Ishtama milta be shavur malka, and the incident was heard in the royal palace of King Shapur, by the Tzure, the Rava, and he wanted to punish Rava, right? Because it's as if a death penalty was carried out, okay, but not under the appropriate acquiescence, so to speak, of the king. Okay, right now, We don't know if in actuality it was by accident that the person died or not. But in any case, what happens? Amra le Ifra Hurmiz ime de Shabur. Okay, here the king's mother, okay, Ifra Hurmaz, okay, told him, Malka Labara, she told her son, the king, the following. Lo lahave lach esek dvarim bahade Yehudai. Don't get involved in these Jews' business, okay? The koman de ba'iyan memoraihu, when any time they need something from their master, yahiv laho, he gives it to them. Amarla, he said to her, Maihi, what are you talking about? Ba'in rachme ba'ate mitra. They pray for his mercy and he brings them rain. Amarla, he said to her, okay, Hahu mishum de zimna de mitrahu. That's simply because it's the season of the rain, he says. Ela, leba'u rachme ha'idna kufat tamuz velite mitra. If they're so good, so to speak, let them now pray for Hashem's mercy now, but kufat tamuz, in the summer months, right, when it's not the rainy season, and let them see. Let's see if they can bring rain. Okay? Shalchale le Rava. She sent a message to Rava. Kivain da'ate. Focus, I'm going to say your thoughts, your mind. Ubai rachme delite mitra. And pray so that it will bring rain. By rachme velo ate mitra. He prayed, but it didn't bring rain. Amar lefana. This is what he said. Ribono shel olam, Master of the world. Elohim, God. Ba'aznenu shamanu. Our ears have heard. Avotinu suprulanu. Our ancestors told us. Po'el pa'alat biyamehem. That you did deeds in their day. In other words, you made miracles. You made kedem in ancient times. Va'anu ba'inenu lo ra'inu. And we in our time, we haven't seen it. Ata mitra ad dishboch marzavei de tzipori lediglat. Okay, and then came rain until it filled the gutters, okay, of the city all the way into the Euphrates River. Ata avuha itchazele bechalme. Along then came Rava's father to him in a dream. Okay, he appeared to him in a dream, and he said to him, Vamali, mi ika demitrach kame shemaya kulihai. Who is it that disturbs heaven all this amount? Amarle, he said to him, Shane duchtaich. He then said to him as follows, change the place where you normally sleep. Shane duchte, he changed his place. Lemachar ishkeche demirashem puria besakine. The next morning he found that his bed was all torn up, was ripped up with knives. Okay, in other words, somebody had tried to kill. Rav Papa Gazar Ta'anita. Rav Papa declared a fast, v'lo ata mitra, and the rain didn't come. Chalash libe saraf pincha, the daisa. Okay, what did he do? He was weak as a result, I'm going to say, and he began to sip or eat a plate of porridge or cereal. Ubai rachme v'lo ata mitra. He prayed again, but the rain didn't come. Amar le Rav Nachman bar Ushpazati. Says Rav Nachman bar Ushpazati, saying to him, Isarif mar pincha achaliti, the daisa ate mitra. If you're going to drink, maybe you'll eat or you'll sip another plate of porridge and then the rain will come. Okay? Ichsif. Okay? He was, Rav Nachman, I'm sorry, Rav Papa was embarrassed. Right? Exactly. v'chalash da'ateh. And what happened? He grew upset, right? And what happened then? Va'ata mitra, and then the rain came. Rabbi Chanina says, Ben Dosa have ka'azil ba'orcha. Another story. Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa was going along a journey. Ata mitra, along came the Amar lefanav. He said the following: Ribono shel olam, kol ha'olam kulo benachat, v'chanina b'tzar. The rest of the world, things are pleasant, and I'm disturbed. Pasak mitra, the rain stopped. Kimata lebete, when he arrived home, again, this is Chanina ben Dosa. Amar lefanav, he says to Hashem, Ribono shel olam, kol ha'olam kulo b'tzar, v'chanina benachat. Okay, rest of the world is in difficulty, and I'm comfortable. Ata mitra, then the rain came. Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, Mai ahanya late saluta. Okay, what was the, so to speak, the benefit? Okay, the Kohen Gadol, the Gabe Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa. What benefit is there then, the prayers of the Kohen Gadol compared to Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa? And remember, on the high holidays, okay, right, the Kohen Gadol says this particular prayer in regarding the issue of rain, that it should be only at a certain appropriate time. Okay, so what happens? Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, Titznan, as we're taught, Hayamit Palel Tfilah Ktsara B'Beit HaChitzon, Mai Matzle, that he would pray, okay, a certain prayer when he was sort of simply outside. All right, what does it pray? Ravin Bar Ada, Rabba Bar Ada, the two of them, the Amrei Travayu, they said, Mishmei de Rav Yehuda, in the name of Rav Yehuda, Yehi Ratzon Milfanecha Hashem Elokeinu, say, Shetehei Hashana Hazo, Geshuma Ushchuna, that this year should be one of rain and of heat. Shchuna, Maliatahi, since when is heat beneficial? Adraba Gariutahi, just the opposite. It's negative. Ela im shchuna, but if it's hot, taheg shuma utlula, therefore it will be a year of rain and of dew. Ba'al yikanes lefanecha tfilat ovrei drachim, and do not let it have an impact, so to speak, regarding the prayer of those that travel the roads, the pilgrims. Furthermore, Rav Acha Bered the Rabbah, Messiah Mishmei the Rav Yehuda. He, Rav Acha, would, the son of Rabbah, would finish in the name of Rav Yehuda. How would he finish this prayer? Lo Ya'ade Avid Shultan. Okay, all right, Shultan. Okay, that basically that one should not have sovereignty or mastery, midabeit Yehuda, over the Jewish people. Va'al yiyu imach Yisrael tzrichim lehitparnes ze mizeh. Nor should one Jew have to totally rely on another for his sustenance. V'lo la'am acher, and not to rely on another nation. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, b'chol yom v'yom, bat kol yotzeit v'omeret. Each day, he says, a voice from heaven comes out and says, Kol ha'olam kulo nizun bishvil chanina bani. The entire world is sustained because of Chanina, my son. The Chanina bani, dio bekav cheruvim me'erev Shabbat la'erev Shabbat. And Chanina, my son, it's sufficient for him to eat a small amount, a kav, a small measure of carobs from one Shabbos to another, 1 week to another. Hava regila the beitayu lamichma tanura. His wife, however, was used to regularly warm up an oven, right? Kol malesh shabta, each erev Shabbos, right? V'shadaya aktarta, and this would send up smoke. Mishum kisufa. Why? Because she was embarrassed. All right, and we're going to pick up tomorrow and see what was the rest of this story in terms of Chanina Mendoza and his a negative neighbor, so to speak. Right? Okay, everybody have a good day and take care.
Thank you.
Right. It's a long daf. But,